feeling a little bit motivated to make a video because I'm very excited. I went apartment shopping this weekend and found a place that I want to apply to. Still growing. Constant construction noise. So I've been texting the realtor very consistently, trying to make sure that I get this lease. He keeps saying that it's mine, but we will see if I finally found the place that I'm gonna move to. I am in the new place. So last night was my first night. I slept over. All of my things are still in boxes, but I was able to make a cup of coffee this morning and come out to the backyard and enjoy the morning. The birds are chirping. The trees have all blossomed. They look great. And I'm really happy to be here. This is actually my first time having a backyard since I've been an adult, and I was excited to install a bird feeder. It brought in some finches, cardinals, dove, pigeons, and a few squirrels. Next, I installed a bee house. I thought this would encourage pollinators to stick around the backyard, but I put it in a cool, shady location, which is not ideal for bees, and no bees ever actually moved in. So this new place is a multi-family home, which is really common in New Jersey where I moved. So I share the backyard with my neighbor who lives upstairs. He grows plants as well. He grows vegetables in the ground and flowers in pots. He actually harvested his garlic this year when I first moved in, and then I saw that these roses bloomed. They turned out to be white. So it's been a good shared experience to live in community a little bit. This is a big difference from where I was living in Manhattan. I spent 3 years in apartments. My bedroom window had a fire escape outside facing a concrete pad, and they were building a new building directly behind mine. Right outside my window was constant construction noise. But I did start this garden journey in my small 600 square foot apartment in Harlem. I was gifted 2 little houseplants that I put in my kitchen windowsill, and they hit it off immediately. They became best friends. Look at them holding hands. So when I moved here, I brought those plants with me. I was gifted more houseplants. I got this snake plant, but I kept these 2, and they are still best friends. This pothos has made its whole journey here and is still growing. I think it's thriving in this new environment. And she's still got her man, her best friend, right next to her. Now, I'm still close to the city, don't get me wrong. I commute into Manhattan for work every day. Here you can see on the far right side, the Freedom Tower at the World Trade Center. In the Midtown area, you've got Empire State Building, the Chrysler Building, those landmarks that you're familiar with. Now, the 17 flights of stairs up the cliff to get to my home is another story. We'll get to that later. Now, please pause for a glamour shot of the city skyline. Talk to throw a bone. For a while, sleeping like a babe. Even in this highly populated urban area, we have wildlife. We have these groundhogs that are not afraid of anything and eat everything. And we have deer that stay in the wooded area on that cliffside. I was able to take a closer picture with a nicer camera. You can tell it's a nice buck. Now that I had some outdoor space, I wanted to get a garden started. I bought some mature flowering plants to attract some pollinators. It looked like the bees were coming around, but I also started my own seeds. And my favorite seed starting story is that my cousin gave sunflower seeds as a parting gift at her wedding. And I've been holding on to them since 2022 waiting for the time that I would have space to plant sunflower seeds. Now, I planted all kinds of flowers in anything I had, which wasn't much. My place is not furnished. I didn't have a dining room or a living room in my last apartment, so I'm filling out the space with what I have for now, but I had to get my seeds started if I wanted anything to grow during the summer. To my delight, things started to grow. I had marigolds and bluebonnets, which are the state flower of Texas, where I'm from. A friend of mine gave me poppy seeds. I was trying different mediums of soil. I was trying different containers. I had food containers with the lid on, food containers with the lid off. I was watering at different times. I got a spray bottle. I was doing everything I could to try to learn what would work best for me in this environment and the new space that I had. I moved this plant ladder to this window because I didn't think that the other window was getting as much sun. And as you can tell, this one still has some sun space where this one is already pretty much losing it. So they're getting more sun on this side, which is great. And I have all my starter plants here. So I know they need lots of sun, but otherwise I don't know how to grow a bluebonnet from seed. I wanted to start with the safe bet, so I started with the flower game. I feel like that was going pretty well with the seedlings coming up and even some outside in the elements that were growing. So I started some vegetable plants. I had zucchinis popping up. I was very excited that maybe I would actually grow some food to eat. Now, surprisingly, just in the last few days, the habanero that I planted from June 4 started seeding, and there's 3 of them. I think the last thing in there is just a weed, but we'll let it grow and tell us. So I think we'll have at least 3 of these habanero plants, which is exciting. I don't eat habaneros, but if anybody else wants a pepper, then maybe they'll get one. But this is when, inevitably, I started to feel some pest pressure. There were things chewing on leaves, just snapping stalks of my young little fledgling plants, and I had to figure out something to prevent all of my new plants from just getting eaten up in the wilderness. I was gonna need to start figuring out what are the solutions for my space and my environment. But finally, a glimpse of hope, I found one of the pests. Now, this snail was rehoused into a space with plants that were not being grown for their flowers or their vegetables. So this snail continues to live a wonderful life. But I couldn't just go and rehome every living creature in the wilderness. I mean, what about other bugs and those groundhogs I was talking about, and turtles and alligators? Okay, wait. Actually, these are pictures from a vacation that I took in Florida, which was really good, actually, for me to get out of my space and get inspired by a completely different climate and environment. They've got different types of flowers, different types of pests, and after looking at these different pests in Florida, I was thinking, okay, if plants can grow and thrive in an environment with alligators, then I can figure out a way to make sure that in New Jersey, my plants can grow to full maturity. So I started working on creating a defense system. After all this work building, I finally had a raised bed that I could put my zucchini and my marigolds in, and it would be protected with the new defense system. Hopefully this would keep birds and squirrels away from my young plants.
like a bee. The curiosity. Give the cat a light, you see, you see, you see. So leave me stranded on the car.
I just got home from a long weekend trip back home to Texas to see my folks, which was a great trip. They have a few chickens, they have a turkey and a duck and a rabbit, a lot of things that were just inspiring me as well in my like gardening journey here, as because we're always sending pictures back and forth of kind of what's going on. So that was a good little inspirational trip, but first thing I had to do when I got back was check on the plants because I knew that something exciting would be happening. The first sunflower coming up on the big sunflower plant. So this is like almost as tall as I am. Okay, maybe it's shoulder height, but isn't it so nice? And it must have been bloomed for a little bit because it's already dropping pollen kind of everywhere, but it looks great. I'm really proud that I was able to grow one of my cousin's sunflower seeds to full maturity with this flower. I kept it indoors where I could manage pests and water and lighting, all of those environmental factors. Since I had achieved my goal, I moved this plant outside to live the rest of its days in the elements with some other sunflowers. They started to bloom shortly after and actually had multiple blooms on each plant. So throughout this first summer in my new home with new inspiration for connecting with plants and with the environment, I wanted to learn more and more about propagating plants, saving seeds, and creating cycles of recycling and collaborating in ways that don't mean that we have to go online and buy something brand new so that I can start a new hobby. There's so many people out there that we can learn from and work with and all kind of achieve what we want to do together. So that's been a huge mission of mine. So I want to keep thinking about this and keep working into my routine. I think I had some really good wins in the first summer. First and foremost, just getting comfortable in the space. And I'm so happy that I have moved here, settled in, furnished my apartment, and seen that, you know, plant life can thrive and grow in this space too, not just me. And I hope that I can stay on good terms with the squirrels, attract more bees, and keep the alligators away. But it's been a really fun journey so far. I'm going to keep learning and reading and watching videos and talking to people about how I can make this work for me and in my space.
Sleeping like a bee. The curiosity. Give the cat a light, you see, you see, you see.